Hi YouTube, ACDodd here again, and welcome to not another on the road tuning. This time it's on the road training with me, ACDodd. Now these are quite rare, and it's the opportunity to go and see what goes on when I go and train other mechanics who want to learn the arts of tuning A-series or tuning engines with SU carburetors and distributors. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. So, where are we training? Well, we're down in Holcombe Garage. Nice sleepy little place. And we're doing some work and training of a garage mechanic. And the first car he's working on is this Morris Minor. Well, it's a custom Morris Minor with a fairly standard engine. So as usual for students, I need to go through the whole engine, and Billy, who's the chap we're training, has already been through this one, and it's his first car, so he's still working on it. So we've changed the coil, we've changed the distributor. These are recurved unit by myself, Power Spark high power base with an ACDodd curve, 0.8 ohm coil. Also, as you can see there, that is an ACDodd rebuilt HS2 because the original carb on this engine was knackered, and we're in the process of dialing this in, or I should say Billy's in the process of dialing it in. Okay, so Billy's done his first engine. This one's all dialed in, it's lovely. So we'll let Billy go out for a test drive and see what he thinks of that one. Right, so this is Billy, and Billy is the mechanic who's called me out to do some training. So you've done your first car, Billy. What do you think of that? What did you find about the training?
I found it very useful. Made a hell of a difference on the first car we done. Unfortunately, the carb needed to be replaced. So that's what we did. We tuned it up. And same with the distributor.
That is interesting, actually, you mentioned that, because we had to change everything on that car, didn't we?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So...
yeah. And it really has made a massive difference to the way that car drives, starts, idles.
Yeah.
And I think it was money well spent.
So interesting. What did you find interesting about that first experience? What did you learn mostly out of it?
The fact that I've driven it and I said it was adequate. It seemed okay to drive, and driving it afterwards, it was very black and white difference. So,
yeah, a lot better.
Yeah. What most people would have said is okay, it was a lot different.
Okay.
A couple of hours
so
later.
Did you find anything interesting about the training so far?
Well, I find it all very interesting. I do quite enjoy the needle profiling side of things. I need to be a bit quicker at it and a bit more savvy, but I'm enjoying it. And yeah, the whole training exercise is working out really well.
Excellent. All right.
In my opinion, yeah.
So what we'll do then is we'll get onto the second car.
Yep.
And then see how you get on with that.
Perfect.
So next car, we've got this lovely Countryman, which I think is a van, converted van. Lovely car. Look at that. Beautiful. And under the bonnet, all is not original, but that doesn't matter. It's a late A+ unleaded engine, 998, but it's got the HS2 carburetor, and it's got the old 25D dizzy, but running electronic ignition. So, yeah. So Billy's working on this one, and we've already gone through and determined that the advanced curve on this one is unfortunately too long, but we don't have a replacement with us, so unfortunately we can't change that today. And the carburetor is much too lean, so we're just going to make this one run a little bit better and tell the owner that unfortunately it needs to come back for a proper recurve distributor to avoid any engine damage. Okay, back to Billy. So we've just done the second car, which is that nice mini van that we just looked at. So what was different about this one?
Not quite as problematic as the first one we did today. So we went through it. There is a few issues that we haven't been able to rectify, because we need to speak to the customer about.
Yep. Interestingly, you mentioned that, but behind you, and we can see it on the camera,
Yep.
is the massive amount of ignition advance that's in the distributor.
Yep.
So tell us a bit about that.
So yeah, obviously not something we can mess around with today. Obviously the customer will know that it's not really 100% safe to drive it and thrash it, which I don't think is going to happen to that car anyway. And I think once they've driven it, the improvement we've made today has made a big difference, but I think they will get it come back and we will be putting a distributor at some point.
Okay, so for those watching, what did we do to improve it?
So we had to centralise the needle in the carb, and we did do a bit of profiling, change the plugs for some different plugs, and that was it really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fairly straightforward.
Pretty
so
yep.
it was different to the first car because we changed everything.
Yeah.
Got the checkbook out, threw it at it. This car, we didn't have a replacement distributor, so we couldn't do that. But equally, just because we couldn't do that, we were still able to make an improvement.
Oh, it's improvement than what it was. Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for that.
Okay.
So that's also the end of day one. So what do you reckon of the first day's training so far?
Yeah, it's been really interesting. Yeah. I'm enjoying it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll reconvene for day 2 tomorrow, and we'll get more cars in and give you even more work to do.
Looking forward to it.
All right.
Thank you.
So I just want to interject here. The training is spread over 2 days, and the reason for that is to give students enough time to practice. It's basically training is based on practical experience. So there is little segments as we go through the day, depending on what we find. We go to the blackboard, or the whiteboard in this case, and then I'll go through some theory. But really, in order to learn this in the time that's available, it's all basically 100% practical on-the-job training. So the idea here is students get to play with 4 cars in 2 days. Hopefully the student can provide different cars with different carburetors on, so they get experience of HS2 carbs, HS4 carbs and HIF carbs. No twin carbs are included in the training here, is because you need to learn to walk before you can run, although twin carb training follows us on naturally after that, and all that's needed there is a discussion with myself. So in reality, this training course is what really gives you the foundations on what you can move forward and then tune your own cars, etc. The big thing to note here is people say to me, "Oh, do you make that look easy?" Well, unfortunately, I've done many years of doing this, so I can do it quite fast. So new people who do the training will find it quite slow to start with, but you need to develop your skills because it is a skill which is you need to learn, and you need to practice, and then you'll get faster. Anyway, with that said, let's get back into the rest of the video. So, day 2. And we've got a little track car, which this one actually belongs to Billy. So, all stripped out. Bit of a track day weapon. It's a road car as well, this one, isn't it, Billy?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So Billy's obviously just started working on this, but we'll cover more of that later. So, where are we? What we've done is we've realised we got the wrong core, so we fitted a Viper 0.8 ohm high energy unit, 65D. We had far too high resistance on the HT lead, so we changed those. We had resistor plugs, so we've removed those and put non-resistors in. BP7s, because this is a tuned engine. Still haven't got round to checking the advance curve yet, and the reason for that is that is actually a replacement carburetor. So let's talk about the reason why we had to replace that. So the reason why we had to replace that is because the one that came off it had a stuck jet, which is quite usual for carburetors that have been left on shelves for a while or left with old fuel in. So the jet was stuck, and not only that, when we took the dash pot off the top, the bearing inside had fell out, so that had all come apart. And then when we looked further inside, all the jet height was wrong, and the jet needle flow valve inside was all worn as well. So we decided at that point that trying to fix this and put it back on was false economy, so we've gone for a replacement unit. So Billy is now fitting that to his car, and then we can carry back on with the tuning once that's on. Okay, so Billy's moving on with this one now. He's on to the needling. Just in case you're asking, part of doing the courses, students have to make their own wideband kit, and this is what Billy's come up with. So he's got a box that gives a digital readout, which is cool. Then moving round to the back of the car, he's got his own system he's come up with for holding it in. It's closely modelled on mine, as you can see, but it doesn't use the pendulum, and he's had to add some extra weight. So yeah, first time he's used it, so fair enough. Okay, so what Billy's doing now is in the final stages of getting his needle sorted out. We've done the part throttle. We're now doing the progression to full power, and then this car will be ready for a test drive. Okay, so Billy's got this one all dialed in. In the end, we got a yellow spring BDR needle with some extensive modifications to the needle to not so much at part throttle, a little bit at part throttle, but a lot more at progression. Anyway, he's now going to go out in it, and hopefully we'll chat to him when he comes back. Just before we go over to Billy to tell us how his race car ran, we're just going to fit in the last car that we tuned, and then we'll go to Billy at the end of the video just to give us a roundup of his experience tuning the cars and obviously the training. So as ever, let's get back on. Okay, so now we've got a little mini 998 with a stage 1 kit. However, I do believe that I may have already tuned this one. And the only reason I say that is because looking at the stickers on the side, it's got Isle of Wight Adventure and it's got my sticker on it. So I reckon I may have already looked at this one. But that might give Billy an easier ride. So let's let him get stuck in and see what's going on. So Billy's been through this one. Interestingly, there wasn't a lot wrong with it. The only thing I did find was the plugs were quite used, so we changed those. And I actually, I fitted 6s in last time, but I've gone back to 5s. So I've now put a set of 5s in this one. And we didn't have to touch the fueling on the carb, because that was spot on. Okay, so we're back to Billy. So Billy has been spending a lot of time today working on his own car and getting that dialed in. So tell us about, first of all, how you thought your car was, and then how it is now.
This morning, I thought the car was very rapid. I'm always very happy of driving it. It goes very well. Quickly learned that it wasn't very good. So we have changed the carb on it because we had issues with the one that was on there. Messed around with some parts on the ignition and did some profile on the needle. Got it running, took it for a spin, and that is good fun now. That's properly good.
So when you say properly good,
yeah,
how much faster do you think that is?
The drive I've done in it now, I've done probably a mile. I'm using half the throttle that I was using full throttle before for the same pulling up a hill, and it will still keep going. Yeah.
So smoother, faster, no flat spots.
No flat spots at all.
And I think you can tell by your face you keep smiling. It's made a hell of a difference, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
And in this case, because we're training, you did that yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. So how good does that make you feel?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty chuffed for that.
Yeah, pretty chuffed for that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, and this was particularly interesting because we had to change the carb. We also had to change the coil and a few other bits and pieces. But as I said, you were confident at the beginning. You said, "Oh, it runs quite well." And when we got into it, it was a case of maybe not so much. No. But this one has been an excellent car for learning on. So. In terms of where we are now, what do you think of the training now that you've got almost to the end of it?
It's learning a lot. every car we've worked on the last 2 days, we have made a massive improvement with. So, yeah, it's money well spent, in my opinion.
Okay, all right.
We have made a hell of a difference to these 3 cars so far.
Okay, all right. And can you see yourself using the skills that you've got now to make your business more successful?
Definitely.
Excellent.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Anyway, all I'll say then is thanks for having me down for giving you the training course and obviously allowing me a chance to pass my skills on. And I look forward to working with you in the future as one of my people that I can send people to for tuning.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Quick question for you, buddy. You completed the training. What's the best oil for the dashpot?
There isn't any. There is no choice.
There's no best one, is there?
No.
No, okay. It's because you've got to measure it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. I just wanted to ask you that because all sorts of people say, oh, you have to have this oil, you have to have that oil. Now you've done the training, you know the answer.
Yeah.
And the answer is, that's all bollocks.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed that there. I just added that little bit on the end just to show people. I never scripted that. I just asked Billy outright to tell the answer to you. There is no one oil that suits all the carbs. You have to go through and see which one works best with your application. So I always like doing that because it's only once people have gone through the training do they then understand what oils are all about and how they work. And it's not something you just go changing or the only thing you go changing on your car. It's all done as part of the package when you actually set the SU up. Anyway, if anyone's interested in training, I'm full up for this year, so it'll all be next year now, next season. But if you are interested, then certainly contact me on Facebook Messenger to discuss your requirements. And as ever, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.